In this video, we're going to talk about how you can 4x your story views. This has helped me a ton with getting new clients and nurturing potential clients in the future. One of the things you can do is stop posting for 24 hours. You can still upload to your feed during this time, and you'll see a large increase in the people that view your stories the next day because it resets the algorithm. Try doing this once a week, maybe take the Sunday off. You want to use it as a day where you take a break, but have it work in your favor. Use it to your advantage. Sundays for me personally are where I review my week, personal, business, and what I plan for the following week. And I like using that day as a rest to set me for another week. By doing that with my stories, I'm then ready to hit the ground running on a Monday, and the engagement through my stories is gonna go up. So choose the day that best fits you. Then the importance of posting stories. Stories allow us to provide more touch points to our audience with our content. We only post 1 to 3 times max on our feed a day. The reason for this is just because of burnout. Sitting down, recording your content, posting it 3 times a day, it can take a toll. Without even trying, you can post anywhere from 5 to 10 times a day on your stories. That's more touch points with your audience, building that trust. And you can provide a variety of different formats through videos and images to keep it entertaining and fun, using interactive stickers, polls, quizzes. And this allows us to show different sides of our personality, which shows competency and builds trust, which is crucial for making sales. Make sure the minimum, no less than 4 times a week that you post to your stories. I would do anywhere from 6 to 7 days a week. And a question I get asked sometimes is, do my story views help me get followers? No, they don't. And those who consistently watch your stories are your most loyal followers. How many times do you go through your stories and you see the same people show up all the time? These are your warm leads. These are ones that you're going to keep building trust with, who will eventually want to buy from you. They don't care about what you do. They watch for you, your personality. You could literally be going out for a meal with a family or a friend. They don't care. They want to see what you're doing. They're invested in you. If I asked you the question, how many people do you follow on social media? YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, where you just are invested in them, their personality and what they do. The reason for this is because they see a lot of themselves in you, which helps them build trust with you more easily, like you do with the people that you follow online. So as you deepen the connection you have with these people, they will be the ones that buy from you. So pay attention to who is watching to your stories, because when you do your polls, your quizzes, and these people vote, you could then reach out to them from the answers that they gave, starting a conversation, not trying to sell, but just get to know them more, having those touch points there, building an actual relationship than just seeing views and likes on posts. And as you build your engagement on your stories, the more views, the bigger the sales funnel, the more potential clients you will get because you're nurturing more of your audience. So if you can engage more of your followers to your stories, this is going to be so important. Some will buy now, and some will buy later. You might have a few people that watch your stories that only need a couple of touch points before they want to buy from you, reach out and connect with you. But others need time to warm up to you. And it takes on average 7 times for someone to see your content before they'll buy. How many times have you clicked on a YouTube ad that comes up, but you've seen it like 7, 8 times, and then you go, okay, then I'm going to click on it. It's the same when it comes to your content. So instead, they take their time, get hooked on your content, listen to your tips, connect with your story and the message that you have, what you've gone through to build up trust. And I've noticed this with myself. They'll reach out weeks, months down the line. And you probably noticed this yourself in your businesses too. So here are the 6 story secrets you need to know to get more people reaching out to you, to build more trust, to increase your engagement, and make you see the benefit of actually posting stories. The first one is focus on the first story. This is so important. It's basically your hook, just like you would with your reels, your carousels. Just like I mentioned here, okay? The title, How Being a Guest Speaker in Thursday's Instagram Mastermind Changed My Life Forever. Using an emoji, standing out the shock face. Whoa, blow my mind. And although the picture doesn't convey crazy emotion in regards to my face not looking at the camera, but you can see that I'm actually on a Zoom call. I'm ready to go into that meeting and deliver to a certain amount of coaches. It should encourage people to keep watching, not tap on it and go, and they're going to go. Grab their attention. And you can do this through images, you can do this through videos. And with your videos, you could be moving around in the frame. That's going to keep people's eyes on you. And have an action for your audience to take. Is this through the stickers that you're using? Are you telling them to tap to the next story to find out the results of what you've just mentioned? There's so many different things you can do with it being creative, but once you understand the fundamentals, you can have so much fun with it. And you can test to see what works best for you. Use intriguing text too. The words that you use are very powerful. This takes practice. I wasn't very good at it at first. I'm still going to get better. Looking what the big people in the industry do, reading the books, listening to the podcasts. This will help you. And make sure the video and picture conveys strong emotions. You might be sad in this picture or video, or very excited, happy. And like I said in my picture, you can't really see my face, but you can see that I'm focused and that I'm on a call. So you can see something's about to happen. And you want to make it look aesthetically pleasing. Don't make it look boring. The way I've set up the text and I've added the emoji, it's small and it's subtle, but it works. And also with this course, right? I could have just given you the basic information and just told you this is what you need to do. And you go, cool, yeah, great. But you can see the different effects. You can see with this image here, it's got the round edges and it's got the shadow in it, so it pops. It's subtle, but it makes the big difference. It sets you apart from other people because consciously you might not be aware of it, but subconsciously you're like, huh, I really do like this. But when you do start with the first story, try not using a poll. The reason for this is it doesn't pique the attention. You're asking for someone's opinion. Maybe you're asking which one do you prefer? Do you struggle with this? You're asking a yes or no question. And normally when people have answered that, they're coming off. They're not interested in what's next and what's coming. But when you use a quiz for part of telling your story, and you don't have to use a quiz at the beginning all the time, you can do it every so often. You've asked a question with 3 to 4 possible answers. And if they get it right, they're going to be intrigued, like, oh, why was this the answer? Let me understand more. And if they get it wrong, they really want to know what's happened. What is this story about? Because they thought it was one thing, but it was actually the other. They're very, very powerful. And you want to do this story maybe 3 to 4 times a week. You don't want to overdo it. Plus, you also don't want to burn yourself out. Over a period of time, you know what works, and you can do this for different story ideas. And here's examples of different hooks you can use. Today, I'm going to tell you about X. I have such good news. Do you know what I found out today? I finally stopped making this mistake. The day has finally come. You won't believe what I just did. You only have X amount of days left. I can finally talk about it. This was the hardest thing I've ever done. Already, you listen to that and go, ooh, okay, if I had a really engaging video or a picture behind this text, I'm going to want to watch and keep viewing this story. And another way you can keep people's attention is the story numbers effect. As you can see here in the top right, this is the 4-story sequence. But I tell you, okay, this is story 1, story 2, story 3, and story 4. Because straight away, you only know this is going to be over 4 stories. You can handle that. It doesn't feel overwhelming. Because how many times have you watched a story, and I'm guilty of this because I've done it on my own page, or I've seen other people do it too, is I go through and I'm just like, okay, and I look at the top and I see the lines like, man, there's like 10 stories here. Now I'm going to go. We've all had that experience. So this is just another way of keeping people's attention for that short period of time. And here's how you can use your interactive stickers. I would add them to every 3 to 5 videos or images you post. This helps your audience feel engaged. They can interact with the story that you're telling. Like for this example here that I say, today I got a message from a client. Guess what they said? My last 5 reels got 8% engagement rate. I have gained 300 new followers this month. My story views have increased by 100 followers. This helps them stay engaged, and if they're voting, this is telling Instagram, this is a very popular story, let me show it to more people. And that's what they're going to do. And if you keep doing this and you keep them engaging, more people are going to start viewing your stories. And then you just want to make sure it relates to the topic and the story that you're trying to tell. You don't want them to be boring. Make them fun, make them exciting, make them interesting. Again, with the videos, with the pictures, how you're displaying the text on the screen, even the options that you put in your polls and in your quizzes. Because you're going to be asking questions that get your audience thinking. They want to express their opinions, share their thoughts on controversial topics that you may even talk about. And you can use them as a way for your audience to understand you better. Number 2 is provide context. Your audience needs to understand what is going on at all times, who you are, what you do, why you do it, and what your page is about. Here are 5 questions to ask yourself when posting stories. I'm just going to use the example that we can both relate to, which is enrolling into a business program to help scale our businesses. So question 1, what's going on in this story? So I'm going to use this story on the right here to answer the 5 questions. I'm showing a picture of either, enrolling or on a live call for that business program. So that's what the audience will see. They see that I'm on a live call. Then question 2 is, what is the reason behind it? The reason why I posted this and I added the text that I did is to show my audience that I'm trying to provide a better service to my clients, to get them better results and also create a better life for my family. This will build trust with your audience because they can see that you're investing your own money, your own time to get better at the craft that you're doing so you can impact their lives more. Then question 3 is, how do I feel about it? Are you nervous? Excited about the new challenge? Instead of using facts and numbers, adding emotion makes your story more interesting and relatable. I put here that I'm very excited for the change that's going to be made in the coming months, ready to improve our service so we can better serve fitness coaches creating their content for social media. When they're reading that, they can feel the emotion, they can feel the expression, especially when they know your personality and your character after watching you for a couple of weeks, a couple of months. Then question 4 is, what do I think about it? I didn't necessarily post this in this story on the right here, and you don't have to do it for every single one, right? It's not like it's necessarily a checklist, but just as you go through your story and your other posts, do make sure that you are answering these questions. Sharing the things that you learned. What did you learn from this sales call? That could be in the next story. What you liked, what you didn't like. Shows your audience that you're being honest, someone they can relate to. And then question 5 is what's next? What are your targets? What do you want to reach? Do you want to help 20 clients in the next 5 months? These are the 5 questions you want to constantly ask yourself when posting your stories. At first, it's going to feel unnatural, but over time, you're going to start asking yourself, is this story creating an emotion in the viewer that is watching this? Do I know what I'm trying to talk about? What's the result that I want from this story? What's the feelings I want the audience to get? How do I want them to react? How am I coming across in this? But those are the 5 questions to ask yourself when posting your stories. What is going on in the story? What's the reason behind the story? How do I feel about the story? What do I think about the story? And what's next? This will help to bring your audience on that journey with you. And the third part is storytelling. Talk about how you became the person you are today, how you became the expert in your field, difficulties you faced along your journey, what it took for you to finally see a breakthrough. And here's an example of storytelling, a personal story of my own. So I showed you previously where I showed you the story numbers effect. They were taken from this story that I posted that is actually 19 slides long, and I kept 80% retention. So you don't have to post 19 stories. What I'm going to do is slowly go through the slides, pause it every time you see a new slide so you can read each individual story. And that's my personal story on how doing that Thursday mastermind on Instagram changed my life forever because it gave me confidence. I finally believed that I can do what I'm doing. And you're watching this right now, showing you proof because you just invested in this course. And previously, I didn't believe that I could do it. I didn't have the confidence that I could take my information, what I've learned, and teach you and help you to become better in creating content. You may not have seen this story on my Instagram before. After reading that, you might now feel that you relate to me on certain things even more. And that power of storytelling. You can also see with the interactive stickers, I use them a lot at the beginning. And then as I started telling a bit more of my story going through the videos, I eased off just a little bit because I didn't feel like they were necessarily needed in how I was talking. So do be aware of when you think it's the right time to post them in. Obviously, your storytelling doesn't need to be this long, but the reason why I did it is because I actually was posting something like this to my story highlights, which does help. And at the end, I wasn't trying to sell anything. It was just taking people on a journey. So you could always turn this one into a call to action for someone to reach out to you, to DM you about your service. Number 4 is you want to keep the consistency throughout your stories. So here are some tips. You want to film videos and take pictures ahead of time, days, weeks to use later. You could literally be out with friends and just take pictures of a nice view. Record videos of you walking past this nice lake or walking in a city, like you're gathering stock footage for you to use in the future when it comes to your stories. And you don't want to post all your stories at one time, because if you're writing one story, posting it, then writing another story, you could have a 5-minute delay between each story. And during that time, people are viewing your story. And once you've finished uploading every single story, it's probably taken 25 minutes from the first story to the last story being posted. A lot of people on your story would have viewed that. So what you want to do is you want to create your story on Instagram, make sure you save it, then do that for the rest of the stories that you're going to be posting, and then upload them all at once. That way, people are going through your story all at once. They're not reading a few slides, waiting, and then coming back. That will cut and lose all momentum of the story you're trying to tell. So what you want to do is write a script for what you want to talk about, the images, videos you will use, and sticker interactions you will include. So you can then batch create them and post them all at one time. And the 5th secret is open up about your failures. We shy away from this because we don't want to seem vulnerable. We don't want to seem weak. But you forget, everyone feels the same way you do. Obviously, there's different versions to it, but everyone feels down. Everyone feels low. People feel happy, and everyone has their own story on what they've gone through. You're watching this right now. You've got your own story in your life. Maybe you've also lost a parent, like I did, or you struggle with certain areas in your life. Your audience can relate to that. So don't shy away from showing that side to you. It's not easy. I've struggled with it myself, but that's going to build such a great relationship with the people that view your stories. It will inspire your audience that they can get out of dark places. You're creating an emotion which will keep them watching because they know that they relate to it. They've gone through exactly the same, and they want to see, did you get out of it? How did you overcome it? I've got so much great feedback when I've posted these stories because so many of my target audience feel exactly the same, especially because I'm trying to grow a business. They're growing a business, and we deal with the same self-doubt struggles every single day. So use that and don't shy away from it when creating your stories. And then the 6th and final secret is make your stories aesthetically pleasing. We mentioned this a little bit earlier, but it's so important. You can use the custom templates that Canva gives you. Even update your phone or even get a DSLR camera where you can take high quality videos and pictures. So use better lighting, change your background and location, make use of popular buildings that you have. Maybe you're someone who lives in Dubai, maybe you live in London, maybe you live in Dublin or cities around the world that have popular landmarks that people recognize. Use them to your advantage because they're also going to keep people watching. And they put you at a higher status too, because subconsciously it shows them, wow, this person does well if they're living in this city or this area. So if you can, change up your background every so often. Using these factors, making your stories aesthetically pleasing, can increase your story reach by 30% because it keeps people watching for longer, telling Instagram this is something more people should see. And what you want to make sure that you do is use a variety of different formats, videos and picture angles. The one thing that I've been guilty of in the past, and you probably are too, is when you're doing a talking video, don't have 6 slides of you just talking directly to the camera. If you do, make sure you use the story number effect, whereas this is 1 of 4, 2 of 4, because people understand then. And if you don't do that, people start zoning out and they want to come off. So when you're telling this story, maybe speak for the first slide, creating that hook, drawing people in. Then have an image of you at a different angle, then of you walking. Again, you don't want to burn yourself out and make it too overcomplicated, but you want every single slide to be something different at a different angle. If you've watched my stories, especially when I was going through that 120-day challenge, you saw different angles, switching it up to keep you engaged. Make sure you do that too. And it'll be easier for your audience to consume your content and increase the time they spend interacting with your stories because it's something new all the time. It's that dopamine hit, especially when your storytelling gets better, you're gonna be onto a winner. And then just create your own style. Use people as inspiration, like I have myself. Be creative and be someone your audience remembers. Understand what are your strengths? What are you good at? Are you very good at speaking? People always say that they can hear the passion, they can hear the expression in my voice when I speak. You might even feel that too. That's something I use to my advantage when I create my stories. So from this video, make sure you act upon using those 6 secrets to increase the engagement of your stories.